Sorry for the late video, everybody, but here are my Week 16 NFL DFS picks. We're going to be concentrating on GPPs, of course, looking at those contrarian picks, high upside risky picks, and punt plays. What are punts? Super cheap players that can work out. But we just need them to be all right, and our lineup will work. So there's two slates I'm going to be going over. Really quickly, I'll go over the Saturday slate. It's a 3-game slate. Bucks, Lions, Niners, Cardinals, Dolphins, Raiders. So those are the 3 games, 6 teams. And just like I did last week, I'll just go over a fade from each position. This will actually help you tremendously narrow it down. I don't know, might not be any help at all, but I think it will be. I think it'll help you to start thinking, help you in the right direction to create your lineups, hopefully. So for quarterbacks, I will go ahead and fade Derek Carr. He has shown some GPP playability because of his volatility. We've seen him put up single-digit points and high 20s and even won a 30-plus point game against the Jets. Don't see him doing that against a good defense. Just really is not going to happen. He's less than 100% with the groin injury, I'm assuming. Also, Henry Ruggs is coming back, which is good, but I just don't see it. I just don't see the upside in a game like this. And like I said, the game where he was great in GPPs was against the Jets, and they called that cover zero at the end of the game. And without that play, he wouldn't have been able to put up 35. He would have had I don't know, that game, maybe around 25, maybe 20. Yeah, he would have had a good game, but not anywhere near 35 without that last second touchdown to Henry Ruggs. So fade Carr, 5,100 going against the Dolphins. For running backs, I'm going to go ahead and fade Swift. He's actually not that bad because of his pass catching. We play full PPR. I know some of you watch this and play half PPR. It doesn't really matter. Still, I would fade him. He's going to be really reliant on touchdowns and just not the best game script. Bucks are good against the running back position. I just think you'd rather take a shot in the dark with anyone else. Gaskin, Drake, who's probably not going to do well, has a bad matchup, has done well against the Niners in the past, more like last year. Jeff Wilson. There's just so many other options that I would rather take a risk on than to pay up for Swift. If I'm paying up, it's going to probably be a guy like Jacobs. It's going to probably be Fournette, who I really like. So I'm going to go ahead and avoid Swift. I'm also going to avoid Marvin Jones, and it's not because he's bad or because he's not going to get targets and he doesn't have a good matchup and he's not going to do well. It's none of that. I think he's going to do well. I think he is chalk because he's going to get so many targets, because the Bucks secondary has fallen off a bit the past few games, because he just put up a 30-burger, put up 30 points against the Titans and was amazing, got people excited last week. He was a GPP all-star. It's not going to be the case it's unlikely to be the case this week again. What's likely is that he'll be chalk with a decent price, only 4,900. And that green right there, it says the Bucks rank 29th against defending the wide receiver position. They allow third most fantasy points to the wide receiver position. So yeah, I would rather risk it, kind of like I was talking about the running backs. I'd rather risk it with another position, another wide receiver instead of Marvin Jones. Even a guy like Aguilar, if he's able to sneak in and get a touchdown, would be a better choice because he's not going to be as chalky. Much worse matchup for a guy like Aguilar. Tight ends. This was a very tough one. I guess I'm going to go ahead and fade Gronk unless you're going with a Brady stack. It just hasn't worked. Like, he's getting decent targets. He'll get about 5 targets a game. He'll be very touchdown reliant. And it just really has never clicked. When I look at Gronk in a Bucks uniform, it just doesn't scream like this is a GPP tight end. So he'll be my fade if I had to pick one. Like I said, Brady isn't a horrible quarterback in this slate. And so if you do pick him, maybe you go Gronk. Otherwise, I think you're better suited going with another option. Dan Arnold, who's right below him for $400 cheaper, for example. He's been quite amazing, actually. For defenses, I'm really looking to fade the 2 cheapest ones, and that's easier said than done. I don't like when people say stuff like they do a DFS video and be like, pick LeBron James, pick Patrick Mahomes, right? It's like, okay, dog, like they're good. Obviously, people have them ranked number 1, but they also cost the most. So yeah, easier said than done, but sometimes I like spending up for defenses. What am I kidding? Most of the time I like spending up for defenses, and this time it's no different. I don't want the Lions on my team. I don't want the Raiders on my team. I'd be fine with any of the other 4, though. That's totally cool with me. So that does it for the Saturday slate. 3 games. It's going to be popular. A lot of people are going to be on their app during the holidays playing these Saturday slate. I can already tell. So next one is the main slate, Sunday games. We have a slew of games here. It's going to be very exciting, and I think there's going to be a lot of surprises. A lot of teams are eliminated. A lot of teams are looking for the next year, while some teams are really fighting to show what they're worth, like the Steelers, trying to really lock a playoff spot. Lots at stake right here. A lot of careers at stake as well. How good can I play to get that contract next year? And it's a special year with 2020 with a lot going on. So, yeah, I think it's going to be full of surprises, twists and turns, upsets, and lots of butt whoopings too. I feel like there's going to be some games that are close, some games that are not so close. I know you could say that about every week, but I think you have that same feeling I do. I think so too. That it's going to be a crazy week. Next week probably not as. We'll see some weird stuff, but it just won't. It won't have that excitement. Week 17. This week we will see it for sure. And we already seen it Friday today, right? In that game that I just watched. Oh boy, Kamara, 6 touchdowns. That was insane. If you had him in your captain spot in the showdown, you'd be able to tell he almost put up 100 fantasy points. He had 88 fantasy points in the captain spot. Insane. Okay, so not going over the obvious guys: Mahomes, Lamar, Watson, Justin Herbert. I don't know. I think everyone's going to be coming to this conclusion, but Jalen Hurts is my guy. He seems to run a lot. Look at that. 15 rush attempts on average the past 2 games. That's crazy. That's so many rushes. That's like Alvin Kamara numbers, right? He puts up Alvin Kamara rushing numbers. And he's going against the Cowboys. They're terrible. They're terrible against teams like this. They couldn't do anything against the Ravens. So they're not going to be able to stop the run at all, whether it's Hurts or Miles Sanders. Still unproven, but he should be able to return value. I like the price. I like the matchup. He's on fire. So everything adds up. The only problem with him is he's going to be chalky. So I do have some other alternate options. At 5,800, we have Matt Ryan. And really, I'm not basing this on anything. I'm just really worried because I guess this is an actual trend, so it's real. It's just not based off any stats per se that that we typically look at, like game script or any of that stuff. It's whenever we think Matt Ryan's going to do well. Public perception, he does bad. And whenever we think he's going to do bad, he does well. Example last week. I mean, well, not me. I sometimes hit it. This week, I honestly don't know how he's going to do. If this weren't Matt Ryan, if we were just to say this is a team, just team A, which is the Chiefs, going against Team B, which is, I don't know what Team B is. They pass a lot. They have a quarterback who's done it before. He's been a GPP quarterback several times. And they're going to have to play catch up. And the price is only $5,800. And it's a super high scoring game. Then I would love this quarterback. The only problem is it's Matt Ryan. So I really have no clue how this guy's going to do. All I know is those things I just said and that Julio Jones is out. Other than that, I don't know. I have no clue how this guy's going to do. He always does this. He always does this. Look at that. 10 points, 10 points, 10 points, 30 points. Like, what is going on? Matt Ryan. That does make for a good argument to be a GPP quarterback. He does have the upside. He doesn't have the floor. It's tough because he's very unpredictable. Also, because of his price and him balling out last game, he's not going to be quite as contrarian as we usually get him. Like when I had him on my thumbnail, was that against the Vikings when he was on my thumbnail? And I think it was a Julio stack I went with and balled out. We got him at like 1.5%, like 1% of entries picked at Matt Ryan that week. This week, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be probably more like 7 or 8%. It's a huge difference. So the ownership is not going to be contrarian. I don't know how he's going to do, but the pass attempts are going to be there. The Falcons are going to be playing catch up. It's against the Chiefs. I mean, they're on fire. They're like the best team in the league. I mean, they are the best team in the league. And you got Patrick Mahomes leading that offense. And then we have Trubisky. That's really another shot in the dark. This is definitely a Chicago Bears defense game. This is definitely a Montgomery game. Just that off chance that it's passing touchdowns instead of rushing touchdowns. It's passing touchdowns instead of defensive touchdowns and big crazy defensive plays. There's that small chance that Trubisky is going to do some things. By the way, Matt Ryan is 5,800. Trubisky is 5,700 going against the Jags. And then I have a super dark horse quarterback, Drew Lock. Zero faith in him. The floor is absolutely low. I probably wouldn't really be picking him, but did just want to give you him as a punt option. He has put up big numbers before. Really, probably only that Falcons game. 33 points against that Falcons game. So he has done it. 26 against the Panthers. That's not bad. Only big problem is the wide receivers on this team haven't done anything in a long time. So maybe KJ Hamler does something. Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy. I'm probably leaning more towards a guy like Noah Fant doing something. So like I said, I don't have much faith in him. I have more faith in all the other guys I just named. Much more than Locke, but he is basically minimum price, and he's a punt, and he's had some upside. He's been in a couple GPP lineups that have hit big, so he is there. But I wouldn't recommend him. If you did, just an example, if you did 10 lineups, Locke would go in only one, so just 1 out of 10. If you did one lineup, I don't know. Maybe you pick Locke just to separate yourself, but don't have any expectations whatsoever. For running backs, I just want to go over some little bit lesser obvious answers. I feel like Chris Carson's a boring pick, and he's not going to be that popular. The way to beat the Rams is to run the ball and utilize the running back position. Maybe they do that. I mean, they definitely should. We'll see. Maybe a little reemergence of Chris Carson. Price isn't great. So maybe he will be contrarian. And we have Kareem Hunt. He's been having some pretty bad performances, pretty up and down. I mean, look at this. 5 points, 30 points, 5 points, 5 points. Like, it's pretty up and down. So that's why I like him. He's great in GPP. Price is cheap. Matchup, don't worry about this 6. Don't let people tell you that the Jets are great against the run or whatever. Hunt can catch the ball. I don't see them running Nick Chubb to the ground. I see them using Hunt a decent amount. Probably 50-50, to be honest. So let's see what Hunt can do, and maybe he'll catch a touchdown. I just don't think a ton of people will be picking him because there's a lot of other sexier options right below him, like Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon, great price with Lindsey out. Like that should be chalky. And even Gio Bernard, who's dirt cheap. Now, for some really cheap options I have for you guys, we've got Darrell Henderson. I think he's going to get the most touches out of this backfield. Cam Akers is out, if you haven't heard yet. So Darrell Henderson should take over. But matter of fact, Malcolm Brown has actually, this is the 4K club we're just entering right here. Malcolm Brown has actually got more snaps recently. And he might get a lot of snaps, but it always seems like Henderson will get more touches. So I'm really banking on Henderson getting more targets, getting more carries. Malcolm Brown might be pass protecting, might get some carries, might get a couple carries at the goal line. That's kind of his role. But I really see Henderson getting the work in between the 20s. So I do like Henderson more. But for this basically same exact value, we do have Malcolm Brown. Henderson is $4,500. Malcolm Brown is $4,000 minimum price. And they're on the Rams going against the Seattle Seahawks. Some more options in the 4K club. We have Ito Smith, who no one's going to trust, but he is 4K. He is minimum price. We're going over punts. Royce Freeman, just really throwing this out there as a punt, and to mention that Lindsey is out. You don't really want to pick Royce Freeman though. And then James Robinson, it's trending towards maybe not playing, probably not being anywhere near 100%. And next up would be Dare Ogu. Now, the other guy, I already forgot his name. Sorry, Ozigbo, whatever. Ozigbo. I'm gonna get it wrong. Let's just say that. They're both initials are DO. So that guy, it might be a 50-50 split. And it's going to be messy. It's not going to be good. These guys both together combined are not as good as James Robinson, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depends on your situation. But I think this guy would be the next man up, and he is in the 4K club. Minimum price. For wide receivers, the ultimate GPP wide receiver is Chase Claypool. The price is... it's not expensive as far as a great wide receivers go, but for him, it is expensive. I don't think anybody will be playing him. Steelers are trending. There's memes out of them. They're they're embarrassing. Juju Smith-Schuster, everything's just looking so bad as far as public perception. You get this guy. He's one of the wide receivers with the most upside. Now, he hasn't shown it in several weeks. This is super risky. It's a shot in the dark. But as far as getting a match, if he can just somehow get a matchup, if the Steelers can string a few plays together, we can see boom, boom, 2 touchdowns from Chase Claypool. He's a big play guy. He's big as well. He's 6'4". So he can wrestle down some touchdowns. He can get it. He's also surprisingly good in the screen game, really good in jet sweeps, all that. So there's so many ways that he can go off, and I really do see him as a boom or bust. I really do see him getting you 5 or 8 fantasy points or 20 plus fantasy points. I really believe that, and that's the exact definition of what we want out of a GPP pick. Another option, we're scrolling way down. Denzel Mims, maybe he starts getting some more targets. 3,600 will probably be overlooked more so on that Browns defense. They're going against the Browns, by the way. And then we got, assuming Terry McLaurin is out, or even if he's not, he's probably going to be banged up and not really be playing anywhere near 100%. Cam Sims should be the #1 wide receiver for Washington. And for the 3K club, minimum price, Steven Sims, his teammate, could be the #2 option there. I wouldn't. Not feeling it. I don't like it. Who's throwing them the ball? I don't know. 4 tight ends. This one's going to be gross. Try not to throw up. Evan Ingram, 3,900. Going against the Ravens. It's probably one of their weakest. One of the ways to attack them is with the tight end. And the Giants always make a concerted effort to use Evan Ingram in their game plan. Like, they're always giving the ball to him. And keep in mind, guys, I am not mentioning some obvious options. Like I don't hate Kelsey. I don't hate Mark Andrews. And Logan Thomas actually is one of my fades. I think he'll get a ton of targets. I think he'll be good. But if you're doing a big pool GPP, just take a risk. Go with the cheaper tight end and hope they score as much as Logan Thomas. And I think we'll have multiple options that will. And so pay down. Don't go with Logan Thomas. It's a bait right here, right? He's price is all right. He's gonna get at least 7 targets. He's gonna be decent. Matchup. What's the matchup? Not so bad. The Panthers, right? Yeah, it's a pretty good matchup. Don't do it. Don't fall. This is a GPP trap. Like, in a cash game, okay, he's going to get 7 targets. That's pretty good. He's a good tight end. But in a GPP, let's do something else. Let's go with Mark Andrews. Let's go with Tyler Higbee. Let's go with someone else, right? Or, the guy I recommended, Evan Ingram. For 3,100, dirt cheap, we can go Zach Ertz, who's being more involved in the offense now that he's healthy. Ertz and Goddard didn't get in the end zone, but if they do, boom, that's returning so much value and so much more. And last guy we got is a punt, and I'm not too familiar with him, but Hunter Henry is out. So Donald Parham, I don't even know how to say that. People will hate me for mispronouncing tight ends' names. But Donald Parham Jr., minimum price, 2,500, should be the starting tight end for the Chargers. Or maybe not, but he's projected to score the most points out of Chargers tight ends. So it might be another guy, but I did want to throw that out there as a punt. And we all know that Herbert is a good quarterback. For defenses, I hate to... Well, I do give you guys a lot of... So I don't feel so bad because I do give you guys a lot of cheap options. Like I said, I hate those videos where they're like, start Mahomes. Like, pick Mahomes this week. He's going to be good because of this reason. Like, stop. That's super expensive option. Pick Devontae Adams. Like, come on, bro. Like, how am I supposed to set my lineup with these guys? Like, just pick 2 of these guys and I'm already over the limit. But for defenses, I'm going the Ravens. I think they got the most upside. I think they got the highest floor. I think they will be well worth the price. Of course, last time I recommended a defense like this, the Rams for 4,500. They totally killed our lineups. But it happens, and I think it's just the best bet. Now you could go with a lot of other defenses, sure. Browns, Bears, Chiefs, Colts, Eagles at 2,900. A good GPP defense is the Texans going against the Bengals, 2,800. What are some other cheaper options? Panthers D with McLaurin hurt. Bengals D going against the Texans. Now, I see the Texans winning and their offense doing good job, but a lot of teams have found ways to score fantasy points against the Texans, whether it be a sack or strip fumble or something, because Texans obviously have deficiencies. Not a good O-line. Not a lot of receiving weapons, so on and so forth. You could also go, I said the Bengals, 2,300 Bengals. And I probably wouldn't go with the Jags. So it's really, I'd go with the Ravens, but I did want to list some other options out there for you guys. And I listed them in order from most expensive to cheapest. All right, guys, that does it for another DFS video. Make sure you guys subscribe. hit that bell icon so you don't miss future videos. I'll be taking a good amount of break during the off season, but still will be uploading content. We got the NFL draft, we got dynasty content, we got way too early rankings and way too early mock drafts. Also have some cool live stream and charity ideas, so make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the bell icon, smash that thumbs up, everybody. Good luck this week. Let's win. Let's stay in the green. Stay in the green. Stay in the green.